Today we're going to share with you the fastest way that you can improve your ball striking and therefore your consistency. A lot of those wasted shots come from those bad mishits, those top shots, those fat shots, those heels and shanks, and those toed shots. I'm going to cover all of these today in our simple 3-step process that's easy for you to do at your driving range or in your practice net. We also have our free training guide for you, that's in the description below, covering all of the advice and drills from today's golf lesson. G'day golfers, I'm Glen Haynes. Welcome to Aussie Golf Pros, where we help you be the best golfer you can be. Oh, heavy shot. So if this is you, you're either hitting heavy, deep shots, or you're topping the ball or thinning shots, then you're not getting the depth right. And step number 1 is to get the depth of your swing right. We want to hit the right amount of grass. That's the most important thing that you can do to improve your ball striking, is hit the right amount of grass. If you're too deep or you're too high, then you're not going to get a consistent contact. You're going to get different distances with your clubs, and consistency is impossible. So here's step 1. We're going to focus on getting the right depth, and we're going to use our shadow. So come around and face your shadow, and we're going to hit the grass there, and we're going to watch our shadow, make sure there's not too much movement, because one of the major causes of getting the wrong depth is to move around too much. The posture's changing too much. We can move a little bit, but if you've got a big dip in the backswing or a big lift, or you're early extending too much through impact, then trying to get the right depth is really challenging. So by watching your shadow and taking a few just smooth swings, making sure that you brush the right amount of grass, and you're watching your shadow, watching your head in the shadow of your hat, make sure that's not moving around too much. Little bit of lateral movement's fine, but we don't want to be up and down too much. Of course, you can do this in a mirror as well, and the other way is to video yourself. But you want instant feedback. Using the shadow is best because you're looking down at the grass and you can really see if there's too much motion going on. Now you're going to find this fairly easy to brush the right amount of grass when there's no ball there. Why is that? Well, it's because you're more relaxed. You're not actually trying to hit the golf ball. And you should learn something from that, because when we try too hard to hit the golf ball, we can become very ball bound. It's really going to tense things up and you're not going to be able to strike the right amount of grass. And that's the other real main cause of topping or hitting shots heavy, is tension. You're going to lose a feel for the club, and specifically top shots, you tense a lot of muscles up, your neck, your jaw, your shoulders, your arms, and you pull everything up. And that can very easily cause someone to thin or top shots with all of that tension. Now I know you're keen to get out there and try that, but before you do, let's look at step 2, which is hitting the grass in the right spot. So where is that? It's got to be after the ball. Now if we get the right depth, you can get away with quite a lot. You can hit a little bit of grass before the golf ball. Within reason, of course, but clearly we're going to get much better contact and control over the ball if we can hit the turf just after. Even if it's just a millimetre or 2 after the ball, we want ball turf. That's the definition of compression. It's not really hitting down on it, it's just making sure that we hit the grass after the ball instead of before, or not at all. So the drill we're going to use to improve that is, we're just going to use a little broken tee here, just like that. Pop it on the ground and leave a space. So we're going to put the ball there in a minute, so we're going to leave a space. So the club there is about 8 centimetres, about 3 inches behind the tee. And then we're going to look at the tee and focus on hitting that tee, and a little bit of grass as well. And that way we can get much better strike on it. Now you might not get this straight away. You might hit the turf too far back, or you might miss the turf completely, or just hit the top of the tee. Keep practicing this. You can do this at home. You can do it on a mat. You can do it in a net. Really get better at hitting that tee and a little bit of grass. So what we're doing here is we're shifting your focus. We're not trying to hit the golf ball. We're not trying to get the ball up in the air. We've got to focus on hitting the grass in the right spot. The ball will get in the way. And this is how we can really improve that compression, get much higher quality strike with the golf ball if we can hit that grass in the right spot. So after you've done plenty of those and getting really good at it, because it's not that easy, now we get our little broken tee, put it after the golf ball, and I want you to look at the tee. let's focus on what we're trying to achieve, which is hit the grass after the golf ball. So just as a footnote here, there's a couple of things that are going to make this easy. We don't want to be moving forward here to try to make sure it's ball then turf. That's not the way to do it. You end up here and you're going to lose power, you're going to lose lag. It's not a good spot to be. Any ball sport you can think of, you don't really want the ball behind you, so you want the ball just in front. I've got a 6-iron here, ball position just ahead of center. So don't try to cheat by getting forward with your feet or even with your head. You don't want your head ahead of the ball. So that's number one. Number two is, if you get too wide, then it's going to be really difficult for you to hit that tee. Make sure your stance is around shoulder width or even a little bit narrower, depending on your flexibility. All right, we are ready now. We're going to hit that tee, forget the ball's there. And that's a much better contact. I've got the right amount of grass, very small divot. You don't have to take a divot, but we've hit the ball, then the turf and tee, and we're achieving some compression. Well, of course, it's no good hitting the grass after the golf ball if you keep hitting it off the toe or the heel of the club. So now we go into step 3, is hitting the ball in the center of the club face. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use a gate drill so that we get some quality feedback, because it's all happening very fast. Quality feedback on where the club is. So if we can swing that club between those tees, then we know that we're going to hit the ball out of the center of the club face. It has to be pretty narrow. If you've got this too wide, then you're not really achieving anything. You're not achieving the quality feedback that we need. So this is your drill sticking into the ground, so better on grass. If you're on mats, just lay 2 tees on the ground. That works as well. But this is my favorite way of doing it. So you can see here the white tee is vertical and the blue tee is at an angle. That's for the angle of the hosel and the shaft out of the club. And let's see if we can hit the grass again between the tees, but just afterwards. Pretty good. Maybe a little too far after. I was happier with that one. And again, this is easier when the ball's not there. Of course it is. So look at the quality feedback we're getting. If we hit the blue tee, we know that the club's in the wrong spot. If we hit the white tee, we know the club's in the wrong spot. And we can see where we're hitting the grass as well in relation to those tees. We definitely don't want to be back here or too far after or not at all. So great quality feedback leading to the greater awareness, and that greater awareness is leading to quality control. Right, next, of course, we're going to put the ball there between the tees. Now this could be a little bit more challenging. It's a bit distracting having those tees there. Remember, we're going to focus on hitting the grass after the ball. So I might even look at the grass just after the ball. And let's see if we can miss the blue and white tees as well. Nearly. I just clipped the white tee. Now that's feedback. It's fine, just means that that came out of the heel slightly. So if I put the ball back, have a think about this for a moment. So the club's come down here. I've just nicked the white tee, so the contact was slightly out the heel. Great quality feedback. We're learning from that, and then we can make those slight micro adjustments. We're not changing the swing, we're not changing the technique. We're developing the skill of ball striking, of getting that club in the right spot at the right time. That spatial awareness is really key. So using that information, I might decide to make a slight adjustment. Realistically, I probably don't have to do anything consciously. The subconscious knows that I've clipped the white tee, and therefore I'll make a slight adjustment that way. And maybe I've overdone it slightly. I've nicked the blue tee. This is great. I'm learning spatial awareness. I'm developing my ball striking, and we're talking about minute areas of development here. The first one ever so slightly out the heel, the second one slightly out the toe. It's challenging. The tour pros can make that sweet spot most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. But for us mere mortals, this is what we need to practice. This is what we're going to get better at. We've got to miss those tees. One more go, see if I can redeem myself. There we go. Now that also felt and sounded better. Now, I've hit a lot of golf balls, so I know what to expect when it comes out the middle or the toe or the heel. But not everybody does. So these tees provide that quality feedback. And what you're going to find is that you're going to have a tendency. You're either going to keep hitting the outside tee or keep hitting the inside tee if there's a bit of a ball striking issue. If you're missing both, you're hitting that grass after the golf ball, then you're flushing it and you've achieved that better ball striking that we're striving for. I was hitting a 6-iron there, but this simple 3-step process can help you improve your ball striking with any club that you're going to hit from the grass. Right down from lob wedge, right up through to your fairway metal. That's great for chipping and pitching as well. Now, we mentioned the importance of maintaining posture both in the backswing and through impact in order to hit the right amount of grass, to get the right depth. So if you're struggling with that, watch this video next to really help you with your posture. Now, we've put today's lesson into a free download for you. The link is there, or it's in the description below. You can download that to your phone or your PC, take it to the range with you. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to your company next week. Are you the best golfer you can be?